seen Steph Curry in your dreams yet?
A little bit. No, I've seen a little bit of him. You know, he's a heck of a player. He's playing at a very high level. The whole team is. It's not just him. But you know, it's going to have to be a team effort on our part.
Is it hard to get caught up in, like you say, it isn't just him. I mean, they've got a lot of talent on the rest of that team, but you see where he is and what he's been doing. It's almost human nature to just sort of zero in on one guy.
It is, and that's what kind of teams do. You fall asleep watching him play, and then all at once, boom, he has a zing pass. What we got to do is be fundamentally sound, and we lost that last night in the fourth quarter. All of our fundamentals defensively, you know, gave them easy shots. Instead of just keeping in front, we gambled, took ourselves out of position, and you know, it cost us. And so we just got to be fundamentally sound defensively. If make a shot over a hand, you shake the hand, go the other way. But we can't shoot ourselves in the foot defensively and make mistakes defensively and not be fundamentally sound. And not only on the defensive end, be fundamentally sound on the offensive end. Take solid shots, keep our spacing, not force anything. And that's what we talked about and looked at and went through today.
I'd say Oracle is one of the toughest places to play. Why do you think that's so?
Well, the crowd is passionate. I mean, they have a great crowd, a lot like our fans in Toronto, but they've been that way for a long time. I know coming down when I was in Seattle, coming down, and I mean, they were a bad team. They weren't that good at that time, and they were just loud, and I don't know if the building holds sound that well, but it just seems loud. You know, in the way they play, you kind of get caught up into it. So, tough place to play. It's a great test for this whole road trip. Is a great road trip for our testament of our toughness, our mental toughness. You know, and the rest of this tomorrow night, and then the rest of this trip.
You're going into Utah the next night, which is also another one of the
two loud places. Unbelievable. Two loud places and two tough places to play. And so this is a great test for our mental fortitude starting out the season. Again, our whole thing is to continue to get better, not making the same mistakes. Guys doing their job on every possession, not just the possession when your number is called, but everybody has a job to do on every defensive possession and also on every offensive possession.
Dwane, is that a factor for you? Another variable to manage, like manage the crowd, or do you consider that at all?
Well, no, you got if you fundamentally sound, Jonesy, and do what you do every day, do your fundamental drills. If we did our fundamental drills that we do every day last night, we don't, you know, mess away the fourth quarter. So no matter where you are, at home, on the road, whatever, defense should travel. Your offensive fundamentals should travel. Now, whether your shot goes in or not, sometimes you can't control that. But what you can control is your spacing, your screening, your ball movement, your passing, your defensive fundamentals. All those things you can control. If you do those, good things will happen most of the time.
Games like this, do they kind of test your mentally toughness in terms of they're going to make tough shots, they're going to make a lot of shots, but you got to stay true to contesting and staying into it?
No question, Sherm. One thing about this team, they're going to make shots. You can't hang your head, drop your shoulders, let that take your momentum and your mojo away. You got to come out next play. Whether it's your offensive possession, next defensive possession, you can't let that take your juice out of you when they make shots. And it does test you. You got to be mentally tough to play this team against a team like this, not necessarily this team, but they will make a lot of shots, but they'll also miss a lot of shots. So you got to stay into it offensively and execute offensively to get what you want on the other end of the floor.
And how important is it for you guys to take advantage of runs, but don't get caught up in that up and down and try to shoot it out with Golden State?
Huge. Again, it's a fine line. We don't want to walk it down, but we want to make sure we get into our sets quicker. We catch ourselves, you know, saying butter too many times because we're slow getting the ball down the floor. We got to get down. We don't want to get caught in a windshield wiper game with this team because they're great at it. But we want to be at a pace of getting into our sets a lot quicker.
Is that kind of part of making them work as well defensively so that they don't maybe have the legs?
You got to make them work. You got to screen them. You got to space them. You got to cut them. Mainly, you got to put body on bodies against them to make a guy guard, you know, his position and not let him relax on the offensive end and then come down and use his energy on the offensive end.
I acknowledge that in part this is probably a stupid question. They're 11-0. Steph's scoring over 33 a game, shooting over 51%. Coaches have been trying to game plan against him for 3 weeks now. Why is he able to have this kind of success?
I tell you what, the key with him is his range is. I've never seen anyone in the league since I've been in the league, and 23 or whatever years, or even in college. Back when Pistol Pete, before I went into college, Pistol Pete was. This kid has range, deep range, and that's what makes it hard to game plan. You say, okay, we're going to get up into him. Well, he takes 2-3 steps across half court and drills it. So that's what makes him so dangerous. Also, his passing is impeccable. And then, too, he's surrounded by sometimes four when Draymond Green's at the 5, 3-point shooters. So it makes it difficult. But, again, the entire league is difficult, as we saw last night when you're going against Rondo, who's won a championship, Rudy Gay, who's been an all-star, and Cousins, who's an all-star. So there's no easy sisters in this league. So every game you got to approach it like it's a championship game. But this team tomorrow night is an extra special problem.